CGI. The talking about the CGI and the changing tactics is ongoing. Alright, I pick a game. I put the first heavy factory. Have a 50% of the meat. A day the players skill aren't as good as I was expect them to be. I would be more demand the player could do the better. We'll just too much of wasted time. I don't kind of transfer the MHK enough quickly to make it at the main base. I was just target to make it one main base in the very center of the map to be able to hold to the main towns. I am able to capture only a few handful of towns. The problem in this CGI edition is the resistance and radiation are able to all the times pull more and more tanks from a thin air. And it's a thin air to bring the resistance, Joe willing to take all the towns. And so I'm letting to only call hand. I admit that I'm actually very heavily losing here. What is it here making a big mistake? What is the tactical approach? Obviously, I'm now playing almost all alone. I have one team to play here anymore with me because the enemy also is playing alone. So it's almost like a commander war now. The first important thing is the good enemies who are trying to the supply of the money. And the supply of the money to take in the towns to enemy resistant towns. And enemy into towns with the occupation. But it's not gonna be easy. Enemies are with all the AIs very well deployed at the enemy on the towns. And turn 4, all in my resistant units, I gotta be using smarter tactics. The part where here is, for example here in the center town, I try to set it faster. Why? I'm gonna is it my ability to take it off to the patient and tactically it's better or I have a bought barracks and take it both, but I should be making even more barracks. And the problem over here, I make a big mistake. For half of the good game, you just make a missing with the AI ratio of the body, how much they should you hold. There is a patient, AI can hold any about the money or the nothing to the 10,000. And when it's 10,000 units of money they are able to buy example heavy change tanks all the time. When I give example I have a few towns. The problem is in the some towns AI is completely inability to take 8 towns. So when there are 4 with towns it takes a long time to AI attention. When they have been mined to run this, it's better not to send tank AI tanks at all, except perhaps the waypoint for a chance to try to invade into mines if you have an all mine field and chase it. This towns got almost even ability to take it. So you're gonna yourself, there is a light factory when you close it, so you can pass it. But as a commander, when you go to light factory you gotta be yourself fighting. And it's just a chance to resist that. It's not gonna be just so easy task. There is a few tanks, and then there is a book. Surprisingly, when you go to hold to the flag, there is a 2 minutes you gotta wait it, and you just steal the town remind to register. You're looking for the reminder register unit, and nowhere to be seen. In this kind of situation, you are very basically stuck, and all of this study is more waste of the money and the time. In some CGI version, in this particularly, where there's amazing much money, and we can always buy new and new tanks all the time. There is really the income is maybe sure. First, in the better target first town entertainment, you don't get penny, but every time you get one more town, you get much more money. And okay, so it's just a question incoming increasing in the proportionally of how many towns. And when you get one town, you will be getting example one. Example 5 minute period 1000. Second town you will be get now the 4 times more if you hold it 2 towns. If you test it, so it will be 4,000. If you call up 3 towns, you will be get once again proportion 4 times more. Every time you get more towns, you get 4 times more income. And this kind of the proportional income is pretty stupid in some way. If you hold all towns, you basically go to all the towns only pay to everybody to choppers because you get so much money. And it seems to even you make choppers and destroy them all the time on all the patients. You make fully and you still have more money. And it's pretty insane exciting to have this kind of proportion of the money that for the whole obviously it encourages the people to take the money at towns, and it encourages in that game it's all about the chopper and airplane fight. There is really not need to use in any food because there is so much money all the time coming generated these towns. And this kind of so it's a CGI mission if you fail because just basically it's a test that you can pay to their boss to the costliest and most heavy tank armored gear all the time, and even you spend all the time stem, even still there is plenty of the castle available. If taking approach, you know that nobody's here failing. Except for the one in the town, my whole town, there is almost the half of the game to enemy set of waypoint there to capture it, one crew. And it is in the session, and he never in the whole game established to try to take with a crew to the town, so it will be always remind of as my time. And this is patient. It's easier to coordinate towns than to hold taking them off. And it seems to be that here in the case, it is always pretty visible. And I'm also ready to test to try this. Can I try it after my mouth and able to speak, but I'm still pretty person. In addition, in the application of ct1, it is of use very important to understand the fact that if you are not able making all the big mistakes, you repeating them, you're gonna get beaten by. So, my tactical approach when we ask it this kind of test, the enemy are able more and more generate chasing. But the enemy player also is not playing the best possible way. He's also a couple of upset from a gameplay, so he only picking a command now. So he's using the satellite camera would only cost 50,000 units, whereas it's just the money would be only take 1 minute to generate. So it's very understandable. Only 1 minute at a time, you would get the same cash to pay to buy the satellite camera. Once again, one of the very uneven and very badly balanced the gameplay is, but the game to somebody really didn't care when you made this map. So you will be taking this 2 times away to income to make it easier, just not the exploit. And it's all about the heavy tanks in the end to have it to make it when the chasing will come. But then sometimes it's a little bit easier to shoot the heavy tanks out. You get the missiles, you can always spam the missiles away to take your chopper. You're gonna have a chopper jet, and it's a good ship. And there's really no other penetration than just immediately a chopper you give it, for example, to rearm it, the vehicle just behind of your chopper, and then you are just battling on all the missiles all the time and killing all the tanks, because this gotta be. The question is, what is the best strategy to kill enemy base? You know basically enemy base is basically always very easy places. And at these places usually, the people usually repeat it previous tactics and strategy what they have in previous games. So you can use it against the take strategy. And they are very well deployed all the time, the full AI. The biggest problem here is to get it on my old PC with good FPS run to get it properly. When you get an FPS count the 2, 3, the screen, the frames per second, just imagine. There is impossible almost any gameplay, and also it's called like a comedy. It's almost impossible to do any task at all. Only thing you can see is just watch a frame show or a side show. And this kind of slide show is a funny kind of to watch it, because it's the most luck and anything here and just simply takes so much of our time and you can do absolutely nothing there. So it's easier actually to close the game and just there because there's no little point. The biggest problem in this kind of case is that the chaser hold all the script and go in the background and take all the excessive unit ammo away. It's infestation. You should be taken to the CTI never getting under 20 FPS. And it seems to get every time very well when it starts a game, but when it is taken over, except for wall power and the CTI have more than 100 stuck in the battlefield, it then comes to making it ruining the FPS so much down that the whole gameplay is almost impossible. This kind of computer to freeze it and hold thing down is making it impossible, so it should be a little bit balanced on it. You don't need to have 100 stuck in a battlefield, making it a fun game. It's actually much funner when it run very well the game, and you can just concentrate tank by tank or chopper by chopper channel, but not the amazing kind of that so-called to use baffling that there's all the time to units and units and units, so you can only kill more and more and more. The minefields are one of the elements what we should be very wise to use it, any opportunity given. Minefield to the enemy bases, to heavy factory ahead, the front of it will be completely killed and eradicated in usefulness. Because the question is, can these mines just disappear anywhere, or can be deployed out? Can they do any unit, or is there a rejection? And so far, in the CTI version with steroids, the CTI, if the mines really remain there, they will remain all the rest of the game, unless somebody's gonna blow them up. And the best thing is obviously buy some very cheap tank, where we'll be just entirely trying to go around as many as all. So there will be mine.